sorry if my suit doesn't look too good. I am not much of, I don't wear this much. And this is the first time I talk by myself. No Time to Die is the next installment in the James Bond franchise, the 25th film, and Daniel Craig's 5th and final outing as a character. And this time around, a new terrorist is threatening to destroy Europe and kill millions of people. And James Bond is taken from retirement to go out and help stop this guy. So if you've seen my reviews for the past few days, you know that I'd review all the Daniel Craig films from Casino Royale to Spectre. I love Casino Royale. Skyfall is my personal favorite, and still is. Spectre was pretty good, a bit standard for Bond Daniel Craig era movie, but standard. The reason why I don't have Quantum of Solace, everybody knows why they don't have Quantum of Solace. And I was very nervous going into this movie because usually with final outings for Bond movies, not all of them were very much good. Timothy Dalton only had like 2 movies, and there was one actor, I forgot who it was, that played Bond, that had only 1 movie, so I wouldn't really count that. Roger Moore's era with A View to a Kill, not that good. Die Another Day with Pierce Brosnan, really ain't that great. Sean Connery probably had like the best one, but I didn't get a chance to see it. Even though I am a James Bond fan, I have seen all the movies. I'm mostly a Daniel Craig era guy, but I am going to try and get through all the movies one day. Hopefully so, when I get the time. But I decided to watch all the 4 movies back to back in order to prepare for this one. And it is a necessary thing to watch all 4 of these movies, even Quantum of Solace, in order to completely get the full picture of this movie. Because from Casino Royale to No Time to Die, it is one overarching story for Bond. It's not like the most connective thing like it's The Lord of the Rings. Like, all of these endings from all these movies are like perfect endings, including this one. And there's not like a cliffhanger for the next movie still. But each movie does continue the same story about Bond's journey. And you could tell that he grows throughout these films and that he changed as a character, especially here. Now talking about the movie itself. Cary Fuge, I don't want to butcher his name, I forgot the name of the director, but he did a great job directing this film. He chose a lot of exotic locations to film. He brought a lot of characters back from previous films that get time to shine here and introduced new characters that were pretty cool. Lashana Lynch's character in the film was something that I did not expect. I was worried that she would have been a replacement character that will feel shoehorned in for the 007 name. But she never felt off in any way. She just felt like a typical person that took up the name of 007. Just butt head with 007 James Bond, the original, for a bit. And then they grew to respect one another and work together by the end of the movie. It's that typical storyline with her that I was actually surprised was done pretty well. It made me invested in her character quite a bit. She's not my favorite character. I will still say that she's probably my least favorite character in the film. But there's not a single character here that I would consider bad. Ana de Armas' character in the film is badass, sexy, funny, most of all. And she brought a great screen presence to her action sequences. And she was able to carry herself very well, especially bantering with Daniel Craig's Bond. And I wish that she should be in more of the movie. Like, she was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Her action sequence was amazing. Hopefully she returns in future movies Because sometimes characters like Judi Dench's M was also in the Pierce Brosnan movie, so maybe she could appear in the next actors for Bond movies. But I want to see her character back. She was a whole lot of fun. Q is always fun. Moneypenny is great. The new M, played by Ralph Fiennes, was great overall. Like, all the side characters service their job very well. But Léa Seydoux and Daniel Craig's relationship is front and center here. It's where we continue off from Spectre, and it leads over to here. And there's a lot of conflict between the two characters. And I'm not going to go into it because it will have to deal with a lot of spoilery stuff. So I'm going to keep this spoiler free as possible. But the story that they go through that helps develop Daniel Craig's character and concludes his arc in this movie, I felt it was very fulfilling for the character in context of the journey he went throughout all four of these before the four movies. You know what I'm talking about, all the four movies before. And it just made this movie just feel like it's the most emotional of all the Daniel Craig Bond movies. This is probably the Avengers Endgame of the Bond franchise in terms of Daniel Craig's era. There were a lot of gadgets here, as usual. It's what you come to expect from a Bond movie. And they do border on cartoonish, but the movie is grounded enough in a sense of realism in terms of the way it's directed, the way it's helmed, the acting. It all made all these crazy scenarios and gadgets feel believable. That's something that I think the Pierce Brosnan films failed to do by the end of their era. And in this one, it actually felt neutral, like it is part of this world. It felt believable. It was on that line, but they were able to find a perfect balance. The cinematography is beautiful. It's not Roger Deakins anymore like in Skyfall, but it is still a beautiful looking movie, and the locations are very exotic and great. The action set pieces are some of my favorites in the entire franchise. There's a one take near the end of the film that up a stairwell, and it left my jaw dropping. And Daniel Craig is still Bond to me. Like, he is amazing still. Even if it seemed like he's getting tired, you could tell that he's still having fun in the role a bit. And he is dedicated to his action sequences. And the stunts here are freaking crazy. Like in the opening scene, there's a motorcycle chase in which I don't know if it's a stunt double or actually Daniel Craig, but whoever it was, they rode a motorcycle up a flight of stairs over on top of a road, and it was like high altitude. It was crazy. It was a crazy stunt, and I love it. And you get more stuff like that throughout the film, and it just made the action feel all the more grounded. Even though things do get crazy, it still feels real. Rami Malek's character is a threatening villain. He's creepy, he's menacing. His personal connection to Bond and Léa Seydoux's character in the film was very much engaging, but he doesn't leave as big of an impact as, say, Silva from Skyfall. But overall, he was still a very good presence as a villain, just not in the top tier Bond film villains, in my opinion. But this movie is going to have a very polarizing ending for some people. For me, at least, it worked. But it's going to involve spoilery and stuff, so I'm going to have to do a spoiler-free review. Not spoiler-free, a spoiler-filled review soon, but things happen in the end that I feel like is going to piss off a lot of Bond fans, but for me, as someone who loved the Craig era of films, except for Quantum of Solace, and saw his journey from Casino Royale to now, I felt like this ending for Bond felt perfect. This felt like the perfect final movie for Daniel Craig's Bond, and I'm just going to miss him. He was a great Bond. I am open to the next person who's going to take up the mantle, but it's going to be a hard job to fill in the shoes of Craig. Just hopefully the next actor can do something different than him. Just be his own Bond. But Daniel Craig did leave a mark. Whether you like his films or not, Daniel Craig's mark in this franchise is one of the biggest. And he is, to me, my favorite Bond. And this movie proves why. In terms of problems, as I said, Lashana Lynch's character is a typical character arc, and I felt like she could have been used a little more. There could have been more of Ana de Armas' character, and the villain is not like the greatest villain ever. The gadgets do border on cartoonish stuff, including the final plan of the bad guy, and the connection there, while it's there, is not enough to elevate him as one of the best villains in the Bond franchise. But as a conclusion to this 5-movie arc, No Time to Die succeeds thoroughly. It is an exciting Bond film, very emotional, with some of the best action in the entire franchise. Daniel Craig's performance is still fantastic, and I had a blast with this movie. I'm going to give No Time to Die an A-. Not my favorite of the Daniel Craig era films, but this is still a worthy addition to the James Bond franchise. And I can't wait to see what the next actor has in store for this character. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time.